Hello and welcome to True Audiophiles. My name is Jim Carter. Today I'm going to talk about where are the best records pressed in terms of countries. What countries press the best quality records? So you can kind of debate this quite a bit because there's a lot of people out there with varying opinions. So I would say in general, my rule of thumb usually is that you get the record from the origination of the band. So for example, if the band is from the UK, you try to get a UK pressing of it. Or if they're from the US, you try to get the US pressing. Or sometimes it even gets as specific as where was the album recorded. Because if the album was recorded in the US, but they're a UK band, sometimes that US copy is going to be the better copy. Because what generally will happen is when the album is recorded, the master copies of the tapes that when they were tapes, back when they were tapes, and that's what I want to key on and get back to about this in a little bit. But those tapes generally stayed in the country where they were recorded or where the band was from. They generally didn't go anywhere else. There are some exceptions to that rule, but usually that was the case. So what that means is wherever the tapes are originally from, they would make copies of those tapes, and they might be a good first generation copy and still sound great, but they'd make a copy and send them off to another country to get them pressed and cut, I should say, as well. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be the same all the time. As a matter of fact, one exception to that rule that I've almost always found, and there are some exceptions, and I know that there's going to be some people out there that disagree with me on this, but I found that Japanese pressings as a whole generally sound very, very good, and in some cases will beat out the country of origin wherever they were originally recorded or wherever the band was originally from. Sometimes the Japanese pressings can have a little less bass than the other copies that are pressed other places and cut other places, but generally I've found they're going to be a lot quieter. I think the Japanese pay a lot more attention to detail just because that's the way they are about their audio when they cut these records, and they use better quality vinyl, so they're going to be super quiet. Now, again, you know, this, you can't say a blanket statement that this is going to be the case in every single scenario. You know, one prime example that comes to my mind immediately is a situation with the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour. Now, that was originally done in the UK, obviously, well, or maybe not so obvious, but it was originally recorded in the UK. And the UK copies, they were kind of an EP. I think they were multi-record, like 7-inch or 10-inch. I can't remember what size, but maybe you guys can let me know about that. And then there were obviously some tapes that were sent over to the US so they could be cut for the US market, and they were completely different packaging and different songs and things like that as well, too. But be that as it may, actually what I have found is there is a German version of it on the Horzu, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, /Apple label. It's on a purple, it's got kind of a purplish cover, but that one actually is the German copy of it, and that sounds actually better than the UK and the US. So it's one of those times where it's not always the case. So, you know, I don't want people to take what I'm saying here as a, you know, it's always going to be the case that wherever the band was from originally or wherever the recording was recorded originally is going to have the better sound, because it's definitely not going to be the case. Because there's several examples out there, and I'm sure that, you know, maybe if you guys want to leave some comments in the comments section, you can let me know of some other ones that you know of. I know of another one, it's a Jimi Hendrix mono version of, I think it's Are You Experienced, maybe, that the French version is the best, but it may not be that album. But anyways, I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below, and let me know what you have as your experience and what exceptions you have to what I've had to say here. And I'd love to get your takes on different recordings and what you know, what sounds better, which version sounds better. But I guess the other thing too is basically in the 60s and 70s, generally UK ones sounded better than the US ones. Well, again, it wasn't always the case, but it was usually the case even with bands from the US. mainly because they put more attention to the detail of a quality record. And we also had the kind of the oil embargo in the mid 70s where I had to use a lot of recycled vinyl, and the pressings just weren't as good. So, but anyway, that's my take. I would love to hear what you have to say. Did you like what you saw here? If you did, please like the video and then subscribe to my channel. If you want to know when my new videos come out, please hit that alert bell. And please, if you have any comments, I would love to hear them down below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. So thank you very much, and you have a great day.